logical conclusion so far from all the experts that we've been speaking it, be it from Magic Bricks, Knight Frank, or Prestige Estates, as well as the Hiranandani Group, has been that the realty boom is here to stay, and it's still got a very, very long runway to go. So then, what happens to paints, to tiles, to some of the plywood companies as well? Let's welcome on board one such player who's a dominant one at that within their industry. Keshav Bhajanka, the ED at CenturyPly, joins us in the show right now. Keshav, hi, morning. Good to have you on the show. We were just chatting with all of our experts, if you managed to catch a glimpse of that, as to how the realty boom is here very much to stay. Tell me, what's the visibility that you have being such a key provider to anything residential or commercial that gets constructed?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I think the narrative that is being given is correct. I think that it is what we are observing also, that post COVID there is a sharp change in the mindset of people. I think that the importance of the home has become apparent, perhaps in a far larger way than it was prior to COVID, when everyone was so busy occupied that sometimes the home used to take a back seat. During this time period, the aspiration for a larger house, for instance, for people who are working from home, a larger space, maybe a more personal space, became apparent. And what also changed was that prior to COVID, I think the real estate industry witnessed deflation, a slight reduction in prices, or perhaps stagnation in prices, which also induced home buyers to defer the decision to buy a home. Today, all of those scenarios have changed. Today, the prices of housing, of residential real estate, have increased substantially, and the trend is looking on the up. So there's no reason to defer the decision to buy a home. This, coupled with the need for a larger space or the need for your own space, I think is going to fuel the housing boom for the foreseeable future. And if you look at economies like China, like the US, the growth in the economy, or the jump in the economy, which was 10% plus year on year GDP growth, was driven by the real estate sector. So I think that India is likely to witness that same scenario going forward.
Grade also happening in terms of, let's say, the plywood quality and the price, or this is right now more towards mass and less towards brand?
I think all segments are doing well. If you look at us, the premium segments are perhaps performing at or similar to the mass market segments, which is a trend that has changed perhaps in the last year and a half. So I think the aspiration at every level is there, whether it is premium, super premium, or mass. And I think this trend is unlikely to change across our sector and other sectors. I think this trend towards premiumization is there to stay.
Okay. Give us a sense as well as to what the outlook is when it comes to the pricing parameters as well, because channel checks seem to suggest that a pricing war is sort of playing out among some of the players. Is this true? What's going on right now with the real estate sector booming, with the pricing trends?
I think we should look at it sector by sector. So for us, we are present in different categories of products. So if you look at plywood, there has been an increase in the price of plywood over the course of the last few quarters, driven by an increase in raw material cost. So we have taken price corrections or price increases last quarter as well as in the current quarter. In laminates, again, there has been a price increase driven again primarily by raw material costs. Certain sectors or segments, such as MDF, have seen a slight reduction in prices. This is on account of an increase in supply. So the supply scenario has changed drastically, and over the course of the past year, substantial new capacity has been added. For instance, Century as a group has increased its capacity to almost 3x from where we were at the beginning of last year. So I think due to these demand supply mismatches, MDF has seen a price reduction. But I'm sure that going forward, even this will see a reversal as we head towards equilibrium.
Demand is coming from pure house upgrade. That does not get captured in the real estate demand per se, but house upgrade is something which is pretty normal now.
I think, again, for us, the majority of our demand, or a large chunk of our demand, comes from new housing, and you're correct. Maybe a fraction, 25 to 30% comes from renovations. So upgrade is a trend that is continuously taking place. But I think that the increase or the growth in the segment is going to be fueled by new housing, which is seeing a tremendous uptick. So both of these are going to benefit us. There's a question of which will benefit more.
What is the trend in this organized versus unorganized segment? Something which you've told us in the past that you're benefiting from. I mean, the fact that we see your ads on the channel all the time, thank you very much. It is very clear that you are moving towards what could be called as a branded aspirational plywood buyer. How's that changed and how's that helping you?
I think our objective has been, towards creating plywood as a branded aspirational product for decades now. But having said that, recently or post COVID, you would have seen that there's a change in the mindset of the consumer. I think the value or the premium that is attached to quality in the minds of the consumer has increased substantially. Anyone who has faced an issue at their homes with regards to furniture, with regards to wardrobes, kitchens, etc., will be sure to invest in a branded product as compared to an unorganized product, which can let them down at critical times. And I think this change is only accelerating. Alongside that, changes in raw material costs, sharp increases in timber prices, all of these disruptions normally tend to benefit the organized sector. And I think this is playing out.
Keshav, good to chat with you. Thanks very much for giving us your side of the story and telling us a little bit more about what the impact of the real estate space and the kind of boom that we're seeing is impacting CenturyPly.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.